Ever get that feeling? Your legs just, I don't know, not quite cooperating like they used to.
Hmm.
You're trying to stay active, getting walks in, but they still feel a bit weaker, maybe tire out faster.
Yeah, and if you're, say, over 60, that probably sounds pretty familiar.
It really does.
But here's the thing, it's not necessarily just, getting older taking its toll. Often, it's actually a buildup of everyday habits, things we don't even think about.
Right. Exactly. And that's what we're going to dig into today. We're not just shrugging this off as aging. We want to uncover some of those like hidden things you might be doing that could be making your legs feel less strong.
And importantly, talk about some really practical, natural ways to, fight back, build that strength up again, and keep hold of that independence. Strong legs are just so key.
I couldn't agree more. And look, if keeping strong and independent as you get older matters to you, if you want to keep enjoying things, feeling confident on your feet, maybe give this a quick thumbs up or a like. It genuinely helps other people find this info too.
Good point.
Okay, so let's dive in. Culprit number 1. Something probably most of us do way too much of. Prolonged sitting.
Ah, yes. The silent thief, you could call it. It touches so many of us, and we often don't realize the impact of those long stretches just sitting.
Yeah, the silent strength sapper. You might think, oh, I get up now and then, but we're talking hours, right? When time just flies by reading or watching TV or maybe at a desk.
Precisely. And when you sit for that long, key leg muscles really do start to almost switch off, your quads, your calves, but also those really crucial deep stabilizers like your glutes, your backside muscles.
Ah, the glutes. And isn't there that term, gluteal amnesia? Sounds funny, but it's real, isn't it?
It is. It's like your glutes kind of forget how to fire properly because they're just inactive for so long. So even if you walk every day, sitting for hours can make them, well, lazy.
And that's a big deal. Why are the glutes so important?
Oh, huge. They're vital for standing up, walking steadily, climbing stairs, basically everything upright. When they're not pulling their weight, other muscles have to jump in and compensate.
And that leads to?
That's when you might notice things like wobbly knees, maybe more little stumbles, feeling less stable overall.
It seems so counterintuitive. You think you're resting, but your muscles are actually powering down. And here's a kicker. Even if you exercise regularly, right, those long sits can still undo some of the good work.
That's what the research suggests, yeah. Some studies, like from Harvard Health, indicate that sitting for 6 or more hours daily can lead to measurable muscle loss in just months, even if you're hitting the gym or walking regularly.
Wow.
It shows it's not just about the exercise bursts, it's also about avoiding those long inactive periods.
Think about getting up from a comfy recliner after a long movie or reading session. You ever feel a bit unsteady? A little shaky for a moment?
Exactly. That might not just be you stretching. It could literally be those muscles having been switched off for a bit.
Okay, so they deactivate. What else is happening?
Well, another key thing is muscle protein synthesis. Think of it like ongoing muscle repair. Protein is the building block. Prolonged sitting actually slows this repair process down.
Right.
And this process naturally gets a bit less efficient as we age anyway. So after 60, keeping those muscles active becomes even more critical to help that repair happen.
Okay. So sitting's the bad guy. What's the fix? Because let's be real, we can't stand all day.
No, absolutely not. The key is what some people call movement snacks. Little breaks. Every 30 to 45 minutes, just make a point to stand up.
For how long?
Even just a minute or two. Walk around the room, march in place while the kettle boils, do a few gentle squats holding onto a chair or counter, anything to break it up.
Like hitting a little reset button for the muscles.
Exactly that. It gets the blood flowing again, wakes up those sleepy glutes, reminds your legs they're needed. Those tiny breaks really do add up.
That sounds much more doable than, running a marathon every hour. But remembering, that's the trick.
It is. Simple cues work best. Maybe set a quiet phone reminder or link it to something you already do. Every time you finish a glass of water, stand up. TV show changes. Get up and move during the credits or ads.
So interrupting the stillness is the goal. Not necessarily adding more intense exercise, but just less continuous sitting.
You've got it. Interrupting that long stretch of inactivity is really powerful. Even with a good morning workout, 6 hours straight in a chair afterwards still creates that problem. Break it up.
Okay, that makes total sense. Movement snacks. I like that. Got it. Now,
Yeah.
You also mentioned drinks. Even supposedly healthy ones could be secretly working against our legs.
Yes, this one catches a lot of people out. We think we're doing the right thing, choosing, say, flavored water or a sports drink, maybe fruit juice, instead of a fizzy soda.
Yeah, sounds healthier.
But many of these can be absolutely loaded with hidden sugars and sometimes artificial sweeteners, too, and both can potentially impact your leg strength negatively.
Hidden sugars. They're everywhere. How do they actually hurt our muscles? It's not just empty calories then.
No, it's more direct than that. It mainly comes down to inflammation. High levels of sugar and potentially some artificial sweeteners, too, can trigger a low-grade inflammatory response throughout your body, including in your muscles.
Inflammation. Okay.
And over time, this kind of chronic low-level inflammation can actually wear down muscle fibers, weaken the connective tissues, and just make it harder for your muscles to recover and rebuild after any activity.
Wow. So that heavy, sluggish feeling you sometimes get in your legs, maybe after certain meals or drinks, could that be linked?
It certainly could be a factor. It's an often overlooked piece of the puzzle when older adults experience leg weakness. Maybe you notice recovery after a walk takes longer, or your legs just feel off.
And thinking about it, have you ever felt surprisingly tired or weak after drinking something you thought was healthy? Let us know in the comments below. I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah, it's worth paying attention to those feelings. And these drinks, the sugar content can be genuinely shocking sometimes.
Like, how much are we talking?
Well, you can find popular flavored waters or light teas with anything from, say, 8 grams up to 20 grams of sugar per bottle. That's like 2 to 5 teaspoons of added sugar you didn't even realize you were drinking. 5 teaspoons.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the artificial sweeteners then? The sugar-free stuff.
That's a bit more debated, but there is research suggesting that some common ones, like sucralose or aspartame, might still trigger an inflammatory response in some individuals. And this could be more relevant as we get older. They might also interfere with that muscle protein synthesis we talked about.
So it's not just the sugar, but maybe the artificial stuff too. So what do? We need to stay hydrated.
Absolutely. Hydration is key. The main thing is becoming a bit more label aware. Start checking the sugars line on the nutrition facts. Try to choose drinks with, ideally, under 5 grams per serving. And maybe just cut back on the really sugary ones if they're a daily thing.
Okay, under 5 grams. Good target.
Yeah.
What are some better alternatives then?
Plain water is always great, obviously. But you can make it more interesting. Infuse it with lemon, cucumber, mint, berries, whatever you like. Unsweetened herbal teas are fantastic too. Maybe add a tiny bit of honey if you need sweetness.
What about electrolytes? Sometimes you feel you need those.
Yeah, good point. There are electrolyte mixes designed for seniors, which can be helpful. But again, flip the packet over, check that sugar content. Some are better than others.
And those no sugar added drinks that use sweeteners like sucralose or stevia.
I'd say be mindful, check the ingredients list. While they avoid the sugar spike, if you're sensitive or concerned about inflammation and muscle recovery, it's just something to be aware of. Maybe see how you feel after drinking them.
It's amazing, isn't it? Just changing what you drink could potentially make your legs feel lighter, stronger, more responsive. Really shows how much what we consume matters.
It really does.
Okay, so we've covered sitting too much and sneaky sugars in drinks. Now, you mentioned something really surprising about walking around barefoot at home.
Yes. This one often raises eyebrows. Walking barefoot, especially on hard floors like tile, laminate, or hardwood.
But I feel so natural, so comfortable. What's the issue for leg strength?
Well, as we age, the natural fat pastes on the soles of our feet tend to thin out a bit. These pads are our built-in shock absorbers.
So less cushioning naturally.
Yep. Exactly. So when you walk barefoot on a hard surface, without that cushioning and without the support or traction of a shoe, your leg muscles, calves, ankles, even up into your thighs have to work significantly harder just to stabilize each step and absorb the impact.
And that extra work. It's not good stress, it's bad stress.
Over time, it can be that constant, subtle instability can lead to overuse issues, foot strain. But importantly for this chat, it can create these compensatory patterns. Your body tries to cope, but it can end up weakening the whole chain of muscles up your leg, hip flexors, quads, even those glutes again.
Wow. So padding around the house in bare feet or just socks could actually be subtly weakening my main leg muscles over time. That's a real connection I wouldn't have made.
It's surprising, but it makes sense when you think about the mechanics. Think about little slips or near misses on a smooth floor, even just in socks.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Those little moments add up. And sadly, falls at home are a huge issue for older adults, a leading cause of ER visits due to injury. The scary part is, often people don't realize their leg strength has been declining until a fall actually occurs.
Okay, so we shouldn't go barefoot. Does that mean we need to wear clunky, heavy shoes indoors?
Oh, no, not at all. The solution is much simpler. Just wearing lightweight, breathable indoor shoes or slippers that have a few key features, a good non-slip sole, some basic arch support, and a reasonably snug fit so your foot isn't sliding around inside.
So it's something more structured than flimsy slippers or socks.
Exactly. It just gives your foot better connection and feedback from the ground, helps your leg muscles engage properly, and significantly reduces that instability and fall risk.
That makes sense. Simple fix. And you had a little bonus tip related to this too.
Yeah, just a tiny thing you can add to your morning routine. After you put on your indoor shoes, stand near a counter or sturdy chair for balance, gently lift one leg, hold for maybe 10 seconds, then switch.
What does that do?
It just helps wake up those stabilizer muscles in your legs and ankles, get some firing, ready for the day. A nice little habit.
Easy enough. So, supportive indoor footwear, not about fashion, it's about function. Okay, right. Sitting, sugar, bare feet. What's the fourth hidden culprit we need to watch out for? You mentioned it relates to when we eat something important.
That's right, protein. We all hear how vital protein is for muscle. Absolutely true. But for those of us over 60, when you eat your protein and how you spread it out can be just as crucial as the total grams you eat per day.
Really? So it's not just about hitting a target number by bedtime.
Not entirely, no. Think about a common pattern. Maybe cereal or toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and then a larger portion of meat or fish at dinner.
Yeah, sounds pretty standard.
The issue is your body can only effectively use a certain amount of protein for muscle building and repair at any one time. Maybe around 25-30 grams per meal is optimal. And again, that ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis becomes a bit less responsive as we age.
So if you load up most of your protein at dinner, you're kind of overwhelming the system for that meal, and you've missed the opportunities earlier in the day.
Precisely. Your muscles needed that protein fuel earlier, too. This leads to the idea of protein pacing. Research, like from the University of Arkansas, suggests spreading protein intake more evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner is much better for maintaining muscle mass and strength as we get older, aiming for that 25-30 grams per meal if possible.
Makes sense. Our leg muscles are huge, some of the biggest in the body. They probably need that consistent fuel.
They absolutely do. If you skimp on protein at breakfast and lunch, your leg muscles are essentially starved of the building blocks they need for maintenance and repair for long stretches. This can accelerate sarcopenia, that age-related muscle loss, which often hits the legs hard.
And we know muscle loss happens as we age, right? How much are we talking?
It can be around 1 to 2% per year after 60, potentially faster if protein intake isn't consistent throughout the day. So being proactive really matters.
Okay, convinced. How do we actually do this protein pacing? Breakfast and lunch can feel tricky sometimes.
Simple swaps can make a big difference. For breakfast, add an egg or two, switch to Greek yogurt, which is packed with protein, have some cottage cheese, or blend protein powder into oatmeal or a smoothie.
Okay.
Add some leftover chicken to your salad. Have a tuna sandwich, include beans or lentils in a soup or chili. Even smaller amounts help bridge the gap. Dinner can stay similar, just don't make it your only protein focus.
What about snacks?
Good question. Things like string cheese, a small handful of almonds, edamame, or even senior-specific protein shakes can be great ways to top up between meals.
You mentioned breakfast being particularly important.
Yes, there's a thought that if your breakfast contains less than about, say, 15 grams of protein, you're starting the day behind the curve, muscle-wise. Boosting that morning intake can set a better tone for the whole day. It's not about eating like a bodybuilder, just consistent fuel.
Consistent nourishment throughout the day, not just a big dump at dinner.
Got it.
That really clicks.
Exactly. And when your legs feel stronger, more supported, it impacts everything, doesn't it? Your balance, your energy, your ability to just do things.
It really does. Well, this has been incredibly enlightening. We've covered 4 things that seem pretty innocent, but could really impact leg strength after 60. Too much sitting, those sneaky hidden sugars and drinks, walking barefoot on hard floors, and not pacing your protein through the day.
And the fantastic news is none of these are set in stone. They're habits, and habits can be changed. You don't need extreme measures. Small, consistent adjustments can make a real, noticeable difference in how strong your legs feel, how stable you are, your energy levels.
Absolutely. And it's truly never too late to start. Whether you're just noticing little changes or you've been feeling it for a while, these are practical steps you can take right now. Because strong legs, it's about so much more than just getting around. It's independence, isn't it?
It's everything. It's being able to travel, enjoy hobbies, keep up with grandkids, just move through your day confidently. Keeping them strong is fundamental to a full life.
So, just a thought to leave you with. Reflecting on these four culprits, the sitting, the sugar, the barefoot walking, the protein timing, which one surprised you the most? Which one maybe made you think, perhaps I do that? Something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
And hey, if this conversation was helpful, if it gave you some insights or ideas, please do give us a like. It genuinely helps spread the word. And if you want more tips and support for staying strong, active, and healthy as you navigate these years, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our future deep dives.
Remember, you really are stronger than you might think. And those legs, they're ready for a wake-up call.
Let's keep walking this journey together.